Why my voice is important. What does my voice matter? I'm just one kid, though among a sea of millions of others, that has his own views and opinions. The way that I see, hear, and experience things is completely my own. So the question remains, why shouldn't I be heard? Now, many of us might be shy or afraid to speak out of the general consensus, probably because we're afraid others might make fun of us. But the truth is, each and every one of us, as we are made in the image and likeness of God, are entitled to our own thoughts and opinions. If your views are different than the views of those around you, instead of falling victim to peer pressure, follow your heart and be proud of your beliefs. Now, you might say that kids don't have much influence in the modern world, and that might be true as one single individual. But when a group of kids come together, united by a common cause, they truly can make a difference. It's unlikely people will pay attention to just one kid, but how about 100, 1,000, 10,000? The point is, your voice truly does matter. Sometimes you just need to find people with similar mindsets and work together with them to bring change. You're not always alone. Now, why should people care what I have to say? This is a question that kids everywhere ask themselves. As citizens of the United States, it's our job to speak up, and we have the right to do so. It's important to voice your opinions, especially if they differ from those of others. It gives a new perspective. It may cause those around you to reconsider their standpoint. Now, I have a story to prove my standpoint. There was a criminal by the name of Joseph Kony. He was born in Uganda, Africa, and was the head of a rebel group known as the Lord's Resistance Army. Now, that might sound honorable, but he was abducting African children in the middle of the night, killing their families, and forcing them to fight in his army. He was charged with war crimes and crimes against humanity by the International Criminal Court. But the problem was, awareness of his actions weren't widespread like they should have been. Now, there was a young American filmmaker by the name of Jason Russell, and Russell went on a visit to Uganda and was able to talk to some of these children who had actually escaped the army and were now running from them. The stories they told affected him so deeply that he promised he was going to do everything he could to try and stop Joseph Kony. So, Jason brought the matter back to the United States and tried to get the government involved. But the government refused to offer any assistance, seeing as the matter didn't concern them. They had no interest in Africa. So, Jason made a video that seemingly overnight seemed to explode with views. It has now been viewed over 100 million times by even more people. Jason created an organization to help promote the awareness of these African children. The organization, Invisible Children Incorporated, became so large that they began to petition the government. And with the support of millions, Invisible Children Incorporated got President Obama to send 100 military advisors to Uganda to aid in the capturing efforts of Joseph Kony. Now, another example is that of a woman by the name of Sister Dorothy Stang, a sister of Notre Dame de Namur. She wanted to be a missionary in China, but she was sent to Brazil instead. While there, she helped poor farmers and aided them in building strong futures for themselves and their families. As time progressed, however, natural resources found in the Amazon rainforest began attracting the attention of those who wished to use them to get rich. These people began destroying the rainforest, victimizing these farmers. Sister Dorothy was an advocate for the rural workers, fighting for their rights against these power-hungry landowners. This, as you can well imagine, didn't make her very popular with them. She was fighting for worker independence, and this posed a threat to those landowners. So, it was decided that Sister Dorothy Stang had to be taken care of. So, 2 gunmen were hired to kill her. They confronted her on a dirt road, and right before she died, she pulled up the Bible in her hand and began reading the Beatitudes. And then they killed her. Following her death, the Brazilian president put almost 20,000 square miles of the Amazon rainforest under environmental protection. Her death strengthened her fellow sisters and human rights leaders to continue their work and to fight for justice. We need to stand up for our beliefs and do what we personally feel is right, like Jason Russell and Sister Dorothy Stang. We need to use their examples as models for our own lifestyle. And in conclusion, we are all people with thoughts and opinions which are our own. With our individuality, we can work to bring change in a world full of corruption and injustice. We can also bring a more impactful change if we try to get support from others. It's also important to bring different ideas to the table, even if they're unpopular. And finally, we need to voice our opinions against injustice in our world. It's our duty to treat the planet as it should be, and that is the responsibility of all people. All it takes is the actions of one person to change the world for generations to come.